Hi kids and film fans, it's me and my dodgy hair welcoming you to my car for today's review. I've been to the cinema, it's the second time since March, it's very exciting. It was extra exciting today for two reasons. One, I was back in my Odeon cinema where I use my Limitless Pass, which feels like my cinema. It's not as fancy as the Cineworld one I went to see An American Pickle in the other week, but it's my local and I used to work here, so yeah, it was pretty cool to be back in there for the first time since March. The main reason it was exciting was because I was here to see Christopher Nolan's new film, Tenet. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to say that there will not be any spoilers in this review. It's not my vibe. I think people who do people who let spoilers slip or deliberately share them are not nice people. I was going to use a naughty word there, but I'm not going to. So Tenet. So yeah, it's quite difficult to talk about for a number of reasons. One, I don't want to give any spoilers. Two, I don't really know what went on. Three, mainly just 1 and 2 again. I can tell you who's in it. Let's do that. So it stars John David Washington and Robert Pattinson and Kenneth Branagh are the three big names in there, the three heavy hitters. There's a token appearance by Michael Caine. I don't know why I decided to do a Michael Caine voice there when I said his name. Never done that before. He's in it fleetingly, he's in it for one scene, but he is Christopher Nolan's talisman. I think he's in everything apart from the really early stuff. So yeah, it's got a good cast. John David Washington is an outstanding lead. I really like him. He was the lead in Spike Lee's Black Klansman, which is on Netflix now. If you haven't seen it, have a word with yourself. It is absolutely superb. I can't recommend it highly enough. That's Black Klansman on Netflix. So yeah, John David Washington was the lead in this. He was very good. Robert Pattinson was also very good. There were some excellent suits. I can talk about the suits. That's not a spoiler. Some very sharply dressed gentlemen in this film. What else can I tell you? It's gonna make your head hurt. Unless I'm just thick. I don't think I am. But if you think Inception gave you a headache, holy moly! Wait till you see this. If you've seen the trailer, you've got a sort of an idea of what you're letting yourself in for, but not really, because the trailer's confusing, the film's confusing. It's really good though. I think it was really good, or it was just clever and rubbish. No, it wasn't rubbish. I'm sure it wasn't rubbish. I couldn't really explain the plot to you even if I wanted to, but it definitely wasn't rubbish. It was nice to see Robert Pattinson grown up with a British accent, not playing a sparkly vampire, not playing anybody angsty. He was quite an interesting character, Neil. You took a while to figure him out. He looks exceptional in the suits. Yeah, clothes hang on him very nicely. I'm excited to see him play the Batman next year. Teaser's just been released for that. So yeah, it's nice to see him sort of throw off the Edward Cullen tag that's followed him around for quite some time. For Harry Potter nerds, there were 2 Harry Potter cast members. No, 3! There was 3, I've just realised. So, not that they were in any of the same scenes, but Kenneth Branagh is in this film. Robert Pattinson is in this film. And also, very early on, there is one scene appearance from Clemency Posey, who's the French actress who played Fleur Delacour in Goblet of Fire. Yeah, book 4. She's in that one. Yes, you'll recognise her if you've seen things like she was in The Tunnel, which was an adaptation of, I want to say, a Danish thriller. You would know her. She's exceptionally cool because she's French and they just are. So yeah, she's in one scene. She was very good in that one scene. It's mind bendy and time bendy and non-linear and makes your head hurt and your brain itch. But I loved it. Oh, it was so big screen. Like, I went to see An American Pickle the other week, which was wonderful, but it would have been just as wonderful if I'd sat and watched it on the telly. It wasn't necessarily a big screen experience, but this needs a big screen. It needs a bigger screen. Like, I kind of wish I'd gone to see it in IMAX, because Christopher Nolan's just the dogs, man. You love him or hate him, and I know some people aren't keen, or they think he's too clever. The man has just got so much vision, and every single film he makes, he builds on his skill set, and it's not necessarily all new technology. You know, if you go 10 years back to Inception, because that is 10 years old now in a lot of cinemas, because they're not, you know, there's not a huge amount of new releases. A lot of cinemas have been showing Inception for its 10th anniversary. You look at some of the tricks he used there, and they're actually really old methods, and it kind of puts me in mind of when Peter Jackson made the Lord of the Rings films, that he used everything from, you know, brand new digital technology to things like forced perspective. And I think it's very similar with Nolan here. He just takes everything that's in his toolkit, from the most basic cinema trick that's been around since cinema was born, right up until, you know, now, and whatever technology is available at his fingertips, and he just blends them all seamlessly together. It's got amazing locations, again, which put me in mind of Inception. After Dunkirk and all the greys and things like that of that film, this was very sunny and glamorous in a lot of places, but then also quite dark, and just, it looked fabulous. The cast looked great. Like I say, the tailoring on the men's suits was superb. It sounded great. It was very loud, but I guess that's part and parcel. It's maybe because I'm out of the practice of being in cinemas, but I just loved it. It was so good to see a proper big screen blockbuster on a big screen where it belonged. I know some people are apprehensive about going back to cinemas, but I really would make the effort for this. If you wait for it to come around on telly or Sky Cinema or whatever, I think you're going to watch it and kind of go, I really wish I'd seen this in the cinema. And it's not to say it won't be enjoyable at home, but the first time you see it, it should be in its natural habitat, which is on a big screen, the biggest of screens. I can't really say anything else. Performances were superb. It looked great. It made my head hurt, which Christopher Nolan films generally should, and it was dead exciting to be in the pictures and stuff. Please go and see it. Save our cinemas. You know, it's a wonderful thing, and it would be really sad if some didn't survive, and some probably won't survive what's gone on. So this is me and my terrible fringe saying, go to the cinema, go and see Tenet. It is outstanding, I think. Katie out.